is the Burnout Coach, and I'm so glad you're here with me. Listen, I know you're winding down for the night. If you have your notebook and pen and your favorite beverage, great. But if you're catching the replay, hey, hey, hey. So, real quick, you see, tonight we're talking about mental well being again, but the title is a tad bit different because we're talking about the exhausted fixer. So, listen, just a little couple of housekeeping things. One, we have the workshop brunch coming up, or the brunch workshop. Get your tickets quick because we are limited in seating. I am only setting up for 25 people who are really ready to work and relaunch their business. I know some people are probably saying, well, I got an idea and I want to launch and I want to do this. Just come on. But the bottom line is we're coming in to work. We're doing strategic planning. We're coming in to talk about our mindset and all of these different things. So I'm inviting you now. I will be shutting down these ticket sales because we are running out of seats. So if you're going to come to this brunch or this workshop, rather, I keep calling it a brunch, but it is my brunch. It is pretty much a brunch workshop. If you're coming, come on, get your ticket. ellenriggs.com is where you can go to grab your ticket. Now that we're done with that, let's jump into this. All right. So y'all know I got all my notes right. Okay. So one of the things that I've heard and I've heard pastors talk about, and I've heard this before, that about the fixer. So everyone who knows me knows that I am a social worker. Okay. So all of my social workers out there, all of my helping professionals, all of my ministry leaders, hey, 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 listen. When it comes down to the mental well-being of the fixer, right? So the fixer is someone who's always trying to fix things, trying to find a solution, trying to put things together so what the outcome can be great. The fixer is the one who's going to put themselves to the back burner to make sure everyone else is taken care of. The fixer is the one that's going to jump in the middle of the fire and the flood when everything is chaotic and crazy. And they are the ones who's going to put everything back together. In the words of my sisters, they will Olivia Pope some junk in a minute, okay? The fixer is that person. They are the ones that you call when everything is falling apart. You've tried everything else and you call them in the middle of this crisis, and the fixer comes and they come and put things together again. They're going to find a solution. They're going to take all of their time, whether it's days, whether it's hours, months, minutes, whatever. They're going to take their time out and they are going to do what they need to do to make sure that the situation is fixed. A fixer will deplete themselves to get the answer to make sure that all is well when they're done. That's a fixer. A fixer is going to stay up all day and all night. They are going to make the phone calls. They're going to bring everyone together. They're going to do all of the inviting. They're going to do all of the talking. The fixer is the one who would stand and be the last person standing with their hair on top of their heads, redness in their eyes, tears trying to come out but can't because they're depleted, but they're going to fix this situation. If you are a human service professional, you know what being a fixer is like. Being in the division or being in child welfare for almost 20 years, trust me, my life has been nothing but fixing and fixing and fixing crisis, jumping in the middle of things, get putting it all together, and even as a ministry leader, doing the same thing. And so what you will find is you do this across the board in your life, not just at work, not just in ministry, but you do it in your business, right? Come on, coaches. You do it in your business. You also do it with your friends, with your family, and when you're dating. For my single women, I'm going to tell you right now, point blank period, before the guy have to tell you, men will tell you up front for all of my female fixers, he will straight up say, I am not looking for you to fix me. Bring that down a notch. I have had that happen to me a few times throughout my dating time, years or whatever, where men have actually said, look here, sis, I know you do this every day, all day, but I'm not looking for you to fix me. What I'm looking for is for you to just listen. I've had an older woman, maybe about less than a year ago. She sat me down and we were talking. And she said, listen, I want you to know this about men. 9 times out of 10, if he's talking to you about anything, he's really just talking to you. He's not looking for you to fix it. He just wants you to listen. He's not looking for you to give him the solution. He just wants you to listen. But as a fixer, it's difficult for us, right? And I'm gonna say us because I am still a social worker and I do still have moments. Not as many as I used to, but I still have some What you'll find is that whenever someone presents you with a problem, you jump right into it and you're ready to fix. It's never one of those moments where you just listen. And sometimes you may listen, but baby, you're listening because you're developing a plan. So when they're done, you can dive right in and say, "This is what I was thinking," and rattle off the plan. But as a coach, what I have learned is trying to fix a person is not what I'm to do. I am to come and to help partner with you on what it is that you are saying you want to change. To help you put to help you bring all of these pieces together so the outcome will be exactly what you have been striving to do over time. That's the thing, to help guide you, to help partner with you so you can move to the end of the thing that you've been trying to work on and get completed. That's what a coach does. A coach is not coming to fix. But if you are a coach who is also a human service professional, 9 times out of 10, you find yourself in the middle of trying to fix your clients rather than coach them, rather than guide them, rather than than partnering with them to move them to the next phase and whatever their goal plan is. Okay. So then there's that. And that's the same thing for us as ministry leaders. We do the same thing. We're quick to fix, but not guide, not partner with. And here's the thing about us partnering: we don't partner with everything in ministry, okay? Because some stuff is a straight demon. But we will connect with you in prayer and all of those different things. But the bottom line is that as a fixer, we have to go ahead and back up, and we really need to start restoring ourselves. Why do we need to do that? Because as a fixer, you will find yourself totally exhausted. You know, it's the burnout coach. When you are in a place, I'm going to tell you this: when you are in a place of stress and overwhelm, the fixer will find themselves extremely frustrated, and they will go into a situation fussing, all kinds of words coming out of your mouth that you cannot take back. And then they will also find themselves so depleted that they will hate the very things that they used to love, even people. You'll find yourself despising relationships, right? You will find yourself actually being the toxic person in a relationship because you're so stressed and overwhelmed and tired of being the one that everyone pulls on. But sometimes you have to say no. And then here are the other things I'm going to leave you with because I'm almost done. Number one, some things are not for you to fix. As a fixer, when you are stressed and overwhelmed, 9 times out of 10, you have taken the seat in which God is supposed to sit in, and you have told God, "You move over. I'm the person that's the fixer. I know best. Get out of the way, Lord. I'll take care of it." And God is saying, "No, I need you to get out of my seat and go sit your tail down somewhere because I never asked you to fix this." Sometimes we jump in the middle of things that we were never supposed to jump in the middle of, but the way our heart is set up, ministry leaders, the way our heart is set up, human service professionals, the way our heart is set up, we find ourselves jumping in the midst of a crisis that God never told us to move on, but we do it anyway. The other one is that did you wait for instructions? As a fixer, one of the things that I will tell you, and I got something to tell you at the end of this, you need to sit back and ask God, am I supposed to touch this? Am I supposed to put my hand on this and wait for instructions? If you jump in the midst of a thing and you find yourself overwhelmed, you find yourself burned out, straight up stressed, you're frustrated and irritated and just flustered, your mind is not sober, but it's totally cluttered, consumed with this whole situation. What just happened is that you jumped into something that you did not get instructions from God to move on. You did that on your own. Let's keep going. The other thing is that you want to go back and ask again. Ask God again, was I supposed to touch this? And here is the other piece. There are some things, Mr. and Mrs. Fix It, that you more than likely need to delegate. There are some things that you more than likely need to take your hands off of and start trusting the people that you've trained, if you've trained them, and people that you have been pouring into for years to actually take the reins on some stuff because they can take it and they can run with it. And all you have to do is provide oversight and not jump in and fix it if something goes wrong, but actually saying, "Hey, what happened? Let's discuss it. What's your plan?" And continue to delegate that piece on over to those folks. Now, here is what I'm going to say about the fixer. The one thing I want to tell you is this: don't be the fixer. There is an underlying root to you fixing everything. And I'll tell you this: I've been opening the door and closing the door behind myself since I was probably what, 5 or 6 or whatnot, because my mom will be gone, my brother, and I would open and close the door myself, going to school and coming home, back and forth, right? And I've been that kid who's been independent, and what we call it in social work is parentified, where you have basically been forced to grow up before your time and you had to take on parental responsibilities as a young child. So I've had that since I was a kid, right? I was good at it and been good at it for forever. And what happens is that we grow up and we find ourselves being what they call nowadays the family manager, right? Or the manager of all kinds of stuff. But what you will find is that root of you being the fixer, you need to trace it. Why do I feel compelled to want to fix everything and everybody? Why do I feel that? For some fixers, it's the thing, it's where you thrive, or you need that, your adrenaline, you feed off of people needing you. Why is that? Dig deep, get to the root of that. The other thing for the fixer is you'll find yourself jumping in crisis. Why is that? Why do you want to be in the midst of that? What is the purpose? Sometimes we're saying, well, hey, I have no other choice, it's no one but me, I'm the only person that will step up and do different things. You sure? Have you tried delegating anything ever? Have you tried even sitting down and communicating and standing your ground and really, really delegating a thing? Now, I'll tell you something. I have been guilty of being a fixer, and I am still guilty in some ways when it comes to my family of always jumping in. But I learned after this last death in my family, baby, have a seat, chill out, because you're going to find yourself in somebody's ER because your heart is about to pump out your chest. And I said to myself, I am not going to die because of this. No. And fixers will find themselves totally stressed and overwhelmed, and it takes a toll on your body. But the root of the issue is what you want to get to. Why do I feel the need to fix these things? I thought about that even with myself. Why do I feel the need to fix stuff? Why do I feel the need to jump in the midst of these things? Right? And one of the things I realized is that for over the years, like I told you, as a kid, it's always been that way. But then also, when I stepped into the world of social work, I became a crisis interventionist, right? Where everything that I did, I walked into a home and I had to think of a plan for this family. But now what we're doing in social work is we're moving to a place where we are now doing collaborative approaches where we're partnering with families and we're actually helping them. But I won't even use the word help. We're partnering with them and saying, you're the expert on your family. What are the goals you want to choose? What goals are you choosing? And I will partner with you and we'll walk this thing out together. That wasn't my story for almost 20 years. My story was, I'm in this house, these kids need this and this, that, and that. Let me think of a plan really quick. And I'm the sober minded one. This is what we're going to do. And everybody just went with it. So when you've been doing that for almost 20 years, you have to find out how to rewire your mind where you are not fixing everybody around you and everything. So here is the hard part. Once you get to the root of why you are the fixer, why am I the one that seems to always jump in and do all of these things? Once you hit the root, it's a process for you to start uprooting that. I'm telling you now, prayer, fasting, the word of God, point blank, period. Deliverance is always a great key as well. And I'm telling you, bottom line is that once you start saying no, once you start setting those healthy boundaries, once you start delegating, you're going to see some of that stuff come off of your plate. And here is the thing: you have to stand your ground. As a fixer, I'm telling you, the thing in the back of your mind is, but is it going to get done? Is it going to be done the right way? Is it going to be done the way that I would do it? And so you're thinking of all these million questions in the back of your mind. And this is how come you don't stand your ground and you step back up into the fixer role and you push the people out of the way that you asked to help because you want it done a particular way. But just communicate that and just know that there's no duplicate you. I don't care if it's your child. I don't care if it's your twin or your triplet. Bottom line is, no one can duplicate you. And when you give something to someone, just know that they're going to do it with the ability that they have and the understanding that they have to get it done. Sometimes they'll do it better than you. And sometimes they'll do it where it's not quite like you would have done it, but it did get done. All right. So my thing to you is this: get to the root of it, look at it, and then start working on it. Write it in your journal when you actually hit the root. And you say, this is why I do this. Write it down in your journal, and then I want you to write down how you're going to actually start addressing this. Do you even want to address it? So here's some questions I have for you real quick, and watch the replay and you can get these questions. Number one, what area in your life are you currently the fixer? This have you totally stressed and overwhelmed? Have you just totally burned out? Why do you believe that this is the actual cause, the actual trigger of you being the fixer? Right? Why do you think this is the root cause of you being a fixer? And do you have a desire to really change it? Like, is this something that you will say, I will be okay with not being a fixer? And if that is the case and you're willing to change it, what is your plan? Now, here's the thing: you don't have to go in with a full plan where it's like 55,000 goals and 27,000 steps. No, small goals, small steps. Everybody I know, everybody that knows me know that I say this is you need to take it, you need to be small, take it slow, small, right? And then small steps. You need to make sure you break it down in little bits. And the reason I say that is because if you try to do a huge goal and all of these steps to it, you'll find yourself being stressed all over again. So that's my time. I love y'all to pieces. I'm going to bed. You go to bed and chew on that thing. Watch the replay, and I'll see those who get their tickets on September 16th. And you'll hear from some of my speakers. Y'all, these speakers coming through, okay? But on the 16th at this brunch workshop. I'm so excited. All right, I'm gone because sis getting sleepy. You know, when I get sleepy, I start getting super silly. I love you to pieces.